You guys, I'm so excited. Monday, Monday, Monday. I used to not like Mondays very much. I used to dread the week and start like, oh, it's Monday again. And now I'm like so looking forward to Monday. Hi. So I am so hi Carrie. And this week especially we are going to talk about self-love. And you know what? Something that you probably are not expecting. Okay. So when you have problems in your relationship, it could come from self love. So, self love is something, hey Tessa, self love is something that we're usually thinking about, going to the spa and like having our nails done and all that stuff. But this week, I really want to talk about what I think self love is. And self love is actually conditioning yourself and learning to really heal yourself from within. Okay. And in order to do that, there are a few things we need to discuss. So stick every day with me. Noon Central Standard Time is when I'm gonna go live and talk about self love. And if you're missing it, you can always go back to my YouTube channel. And also, if you are still on this procrastination from last week and the time management, make sure you hop over to my YouTube, subscribe over there, and like binge watch all those. As I go, I will upload them all there so you guys have a library of self development and personal development topics that you can like dive into and work on. So, today, relationships are a place to give, and this might actually be surprising to you because most of us think that we are in a relationship because we want to receive, okay? So we want to receive something, but we are, and the reason why we are wanting to receive is because we are really conditioned to be expecting to be expecting something in return. But actually relationships are a place to give. And the reason why so many people are unhappy in their relationships is because we are expecting other people to fulfill our expectations. Okay, so we are so driven to external validation, external way of someone making us feel loved, that when that other person is not doing it, we somehow crumble and we are not feeling great. Okay, but what we really need to understand is what a purpose of a relationship really is. The purpose of a relationship is actually to magnify our emotions. So whatever we feel inside, we are going to want to magnify with the other relationship. Okay, with the relationship, so with other people. So if we feel really really great, then we want to tell the persons that are most important to us, whether or not it's our partner, our spouse, our friends, we want to tell them about it and we want to tell them how great it is. Now, in the same aspect is when we have negative emotions, negative things that we are talking about, we also want to tell other people about it to try to make us feel better. But what we in fact are doing, you guys, is you have to imagine it as, like those champagne glasses, like those when you go to these fancy parties where they all have a tower of champagne glasses, right? Imagine this, and on the top of it, you put up, like they're all flowing down, and the top of it, you put some red dye. If you, and imagine this red dye being your negative emotions, okay? So you put it in the front in the top glass, and what happens, it spills into the next row, and then it spills into the next row, and before you know it, all of these champagne flutes are basically destroyed by this red dye. Okay, and that's exactly what happens if we have negative emotions that we then magnify in our relationships, meaning we are doing that. Now, what I want to talk about is two things. I want to talk about the fact that we are expecting other people to make us feel better. We're looking for external motivation, we're looking for external validation, and that is where so many people have trouble. They have trouble because these validations are not coming. They're not coming. You guys heard Mel Robbins say, no one is coming. No one is coming to help you. And that, in fact, is true, right? Other people are not, it's not their responsibility to make us happy, to make us feel good, to validate us. It's not their responsibility. And it's our responsibility to make ourselves happy. The problem with this is the happiness starts from within. The problem is that most people can't give what they don't have inside. Okay, so if you don't have happiness inside of you, then you can't bring it to a relationship, and you can also not expect it, because chances are the others don't have it either, right? I mean, it's kind of like the people, because birds of a feather flock together. So if you're hanging around with people who are also not super positive in loving themselves and having great habits and all that things, then what's happening is like they can't give it to you, you can't give it to them, nobody has it, and it's just a cycle of self-destructive behaviors, right? So what you can do is you could find yourself people who are positive. You can find yourself people who are looking for these topics, right? People who develop themselves personality wise and personal development. That's important. So you can like be around these people who are not putting the red dye. Okay, make sure you do not hang around people who put red dye into your glasses, because it's going to spill over to you. That is tip number one on self-love. Watch who you're hanging out with. Okay, and then the fact is, okay, we need to make ourselves feel better. The problem is that we cannot make ourselves feel better if we do not even know what we like. And I feel like this is the biggest of the problems, is the fact that people don't even know anymore what they like. When we grow up, and I'm going to take you guys back onto this. So when we are little kids, okay, we are immediately trained to do certain things. We are immediately trained to walk a certain way, talk a certain way, be a certain way, and behave a certain way, like certain things. And very, very seldom children are being encouraged to find out themselves what they're like. Children are very seldomly encouraged to have opinions, right? Because opinions in a normal general school system are not necessarily welcome, because I mean, it's logically not even possible, guys. I mean, when you think about it, okay, you have one teacher, 30 children. Imagine every one of those 30 children wants to do different things. That's not possible. So we are necessarily trained to do and follow the rules, okay, and follow the rules. And while that is good in some aspects, in other aspects, it's really not good, because when you are always following people's instructions, people's leadership, instead of stopping for a second and thinking to yourself, do I like this? Do I want this? Why do I not want this? Do I want, like, if this is not encouraged behavior growing up, then at some point you are forgetting to do that. Okay, you're forgetting to do that. And this is a red way to go through all your life. So you are going through this your entire life, always looking for someone else to tell you what to do. And what self-love, in my opinion, starts with is taking a break and hearing, yes, your value system. That is your internal parent you, okay? That is the belief system that you have going on, your paradigm. You have these thoughts of what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. But what you need to do to find your voice back, or maybe for some of you, if you find your voice for the very first time, you have to take a step back, and you have to listen to what that parent you is going to tell you. And then you have to sit there and think, do I agree with that, or do I not agree with that? Do I like this, or do I not like this? That is the start of loving yourself, okay? That's the start of healing what may be on a subconscious level is not quite right there, okay? Because the soul knows, even if your internal computer, your paradigm, has been trained to do certain things a certain way, okay? Give me an example. Drop in the comments real quick or later, say, if you watch this later, say hashtag replay, okay? But drop in the comments what it is that you have been trained to do, like some kind of behavior that you have been trained to do and that you've never thought about whether or not you like it or not. I would love to know and have conversations about this, because we often do things on autopilot. We do things on autopilot. We go through life not even questioning if that is a behavior that we like or a behavior that we don't like. But our soul inside knows if it's something that is enjoyable or not. Okay. And you have also certain reactions to it. So some people, when something is misaligned, some people show up with procrastination. Some people just simply avoid and numb out emotions, negative emotions. So they're binge watching TV, for example, or you have emotional eating issues, or what else what else do we have? You overwork, or you are overthinking, or you have a lot of anxiety and depression. These things can come simply from being misaligned in what your value system is, like what you feel, what you're acting as versus what you believe in yourself. Okay. And self-love is where you need to take a moment to understand, is it aligned or is it not aligned? Am I being okay, with this? Do I agree with what my paradigm says? Do I agree with what I'm doing here every single day? Or do I somehow feel it should be different? Now, most of us are choosing the relationships to vent, okay? Remember, magnifying emotions. That's what we do in relationships. But it's putting the red dye in. And what you want to magnify is the excitement and the passion and the amazingness. Okay. So if I am a geek about personal development, which I am, by the way, and I am constantly talking personal development, and you see I am excited and I'm happy about it and I love it and I'm like so passionate because it changed my life. It literally did. It has changed everything for me. Okay, because I used to be that angry, upset person, and you can see I have proof. Do you guys see this like little dimple here, right? It's like because I was like running around like this all the time. Like I've always like I have a dimple here that I now try to smooth out, but it's been for so many years I've been like running around like this, miserable, until I started realizing that I was just not aligned with the people in my surroundings. I was not aligned with their belief system and what I believed, right? On a soul level, I believe in what are some of my I believe in tolerating people. I believe in live and let live. Like I get the right to live the way how I want, and you get to have the life you want. Okay. And then I believe in inclusivity. Okay, like including everybody, not just like making people pushing people out. Now that can get you in trouble too, because if you're a recovering people pleaser and you're wanting to include everybody, you have to watch it. Yes, you are including everybody, but you also put a few boundaries in place, right? Okay, so purpose of relationships, magnifying the emotions. You got to make sure the emotions you have, and that, my friend, is your responsibility. You cannot point to the relationships in your life and the people in your life right now and say, oh, I'm showing up this way because that person is this way, or this person is this way, or that person. At some point in our adult life, we have to make sure that we are taking responsibility and ownership of our own self. And with that said, that is where you are really setting yourself free. My brand is Walk It Free, guys, and that's why. Walk It Free is you set yourself free and taking responsibility of your self-love, of your self belief system, your paradigm, your what is going on there for you, what emotions are happening for you, and where are you needing to adjust pieces in your life. So this was today. Let me know what you're thinking about it. Remember, pop over to my YouTube channel if you need to catch some of the other videos on replay, or if you want to learn a little bit more about your paradigm. I'm going to drop a free PDF that you can download in the comments over here, and then I'll see you tomorrow for the next part of the self-love series. See you all later.